So, in this video, I'm going to show you how to make the easiest start on Rust. Now, this can be Rust Console Edition or Rust PC, and it involves basically doing the pump shotgun quest at the fishing village for easy scrap, a free gun, and decent comps. So, first of all, you're going to look at your map, and so there's our closest fishing village to this spawn, and what you want to do is pretty much get around 80 scrap to start off with before you get there. So this harbour is going to provide most of that. I'm going to have a little run along this road, recycle at that harbour, and then run up to fishing village with my scrap. So the reason you want the scrap is because we're going to buy ourselves a set of scuba gear, and then we're going to go to the fishing village and we're going to accept the pump shotgun quest, which is one of a few quests you can do at the fishing village, and that basically entails going to some sunken ships underwater using the scuba gear that you've just bought, and then all you need to do really is collect 10 of the boxes from the sunken ships. Now you can also hit all of the barrel spawns up at the top, and by the end of it you're basically going to end up with a fair amount of scrap, a fair amount of components, a gun, and a good start really. So yeah, let's get going. We're not going to hit road signs or anything like that. We're just going to look for barrel spawns, and we're going to hit them with our rock initially. Sometimes I will go and hit a tree and get a spear, which I might do now, because if you don't get a melee weapon soon into it, you're not going to be able to get as many barrels quickly. So this is the first little tip, is use your rock, get a spear. That's going to speed up your barrel collection, and then you're going to get the 80 scrap that you need for your pump shotty quest a lot quicker. So let's get this tree down, get the spear made, and then we're hopefully going to try, maybe if we're lucky, find a red barrel, because we're going to need some fuel for our boat. So we need low grade. So if we can get a red barrel somewhere, we can then refine that in the harbour using the oil refinery that's in all the harbours. So if we're lucky, we'll get one, but sometimes you don't, sometimes you do. You just got to work with what you get. We may end up trying to kill an animal if we see a pig or something like that, you know. Depending on what melee we get, we might get a crossbow out of a box, kill it that way. So there's a few different ways of doing it. But this is what I would say, this is probably the least stressful, easiest way to start on a new server, and that's what I'm all about, is just relaxing, easy gameplay on Rust, because most of it's very stressful. The PvP, all that, is very stressful. So if you can get on any server, get a decent start, you're winning really, aren't you? Because this will also provide some of those basic components you need at the start. Like, for example, we should end up with a fair amount of cloth. So it's not unusual to finish this. It takes about 45 minutes. Sometimes quicker, sometimes longer, depending on how many. Because there's a good chance I die. Yeah, it takes about 45 minutes, and you should end up with about 1,000 cloth, and then some metal frags that you've obviously, if you've recycled all your components and stuff like that. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm going to show it you all in real time, so there's no editing or anything like that. It's literally going to be me doing the quest unedited. You'll see exactly how it progresses, and there's a good chance I die, and if I do, we'll start again, get going again. Now this server I have actually been playing with my friends, so I've actually got a trap base and a normal base, but I thought I'd just start out fresh here. I'm not going to use any blueprints, any weapons or anything like that, just to show you how this is basically a fresh start on the server. I've got nothing, spawned with my rock, and we're getting going. So first things first, I've made my spear, and I've made a bag. I'm going to put that down near the fishing village, and I'm going to explain why later. Because even though it's a very stress-free start to begin with, there is a nerve-wracking moment where you've completed your quest, you've got all your loot, and now you need to do something with it. Now what I normally do is take it to Outpost and recycle everything, and what I like to do straight off the bat, it might be an unpopular use of the scrap, is quite often if it's a fresh server I will immediately buy a revolver from Outpost for 200 scrap and research it, because then I am just miles ahead of the game in terms of being able to kill other players, especially early on in wipe. So if you imagine on wipe day, 45 minutes in, I'm running around with revolver, which then allows you to dominate your area. So the 200 scrap you spend on the revolver, it seems like a waste at the time, but then when you turn that into everyone else's scrap because they can't live with your domination of the area with like Revy crossbow or Revy nail gun, then it really does multiply your scrap. So it's one of those. Some people would prefer to save it for a tier 2. But if you've got BPs, you're definitely spending it on a tier 2. But in the context of a completely fresh server where you've got no BPs, you're not going to be spending it on the tier 2 initially because you're going to need to get the BPs, aren't you? So it's one of those. If it's a fresh server, no BPs, you're probably saving for the tier 2. If it's not a fresh server and you've already got BPs, you're going to spend it on the tier 2. So either way, it's a great start. I'll actually skip most of Harbour here, so I'm going to go back and then I'll recycle, which is down that one, and we should be on our way to getting the amount we need for the scuba already. Now if we're lucky, we'll get a piece of the scuba on the way, which can happen sometimes. Hopefully it'll be the tank because that's the most expensive part, but if not, that's okay. Now, I don't personally buy a wetsuit because they're pretty pointless, really, in terms of there's no point in trying to gather the extra scrap. If you fancy it, you can, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's that useful. So yeah, you don't really need the wetsuit, but the goggles are a must for me. I have actually been attacked in the sea by other players multiple times because I do this every time, so law of averages, I'm going to run into a few other players doing the same thing. And there's our red barrel, which is very nice. Only a tiny bit out into the ocean. So that's how we get our start. And also, because it's got crude oil in there and there's a refinery in the harbour, we are going to be sorted for low grade now, because once we get on the boat and out at sea, you see loads of these barrel spawns, and we basically can profit on low grade as we drive around. We've already got the sewing kit starting, so let me get back onto land. See, this is what it looks like without the goggles. So to me, the goggles are essential because not only are there other players, there's also sharks underwater, which can be quite hard to spot. So one thing I have learned, oh, no box in there today, is that you can't be precious with your loot, especially when you're starting off. So things like recycling and harbours and stuff, it's just got to be done. You can't be sitting back and trying to protect this loot. This is just loot for the quest, so we don't mind if we lose it, to be honest. Right, there's the oil refinery. We'll get our crude smelt in, and then we'll get to the fishing village as soon as it's ready. Hopefully there'll be a boat nearby and we won't have to run to the fishing village. That would be ideal. Let's check this little hut over here. with this being a full pop server, there's every chance that we could run into someone any second, so it is a bit nerve-wracking, but as I say, we've only been collecting stuff for 2 minutes, so it's not like we're going to lose much if we die. So that's all about not being too precious with it. You've just got to go for it and hope for the best. So if you die, you can always just respawn at a different fishing village and do a loot route there. Here we go. And one more. Thank you very much. Right, let's get going. Go and pick up that recycled loot, and then we're on our way. How much scrap we've got? We've got 53 already raw, so we should be laughing with the amount that we've got in that recycler. Oh, we've got a military crate. Look at that. Another. Well, you can't complain at that, can you? There's another 60 scrap for us. And then all we need is a boat. So I'm not going to waste time recycling that rope at the moment. Eat my potato, and now we can start getting our bandos on the go. Oh, didn't mean to do that. There we go. Right, we've got plenty of scrap for the scuba. Now we just need to hopefully spot a boat over there without running into any players, and we've got the pump vest on the go. Now, we've been going for 14 minutes, which is quite a while to be fair, but we have got a decent amount of scrap, and I think Harbour's one of the most underrated enemies, to be honest. It's not spoken about much, but it really is pretty strong when it comes to a start, and it's not usually got that many geared players in it because most people just tend to ignore it really. But we've looked at a bit there with the laptop making the scrap all pretty big, but now do we push one of these boats in, or is there another one down there? Because I am pretty tempted by this boat. Yeah, I'm going to do it because I can't see any before the fishing village, and we're basically away as soon as this is in the water. So hopefully no one comes up behind us, because we are pretty defenseless at the moment, apart from this spear, which isn't going to do much. Yeah, I do feel like they've let you push the boats a lot further on next gen. And the hitbox for adding fuel is really frustrating. That needs fixing. Come on, it's going to get me killed. There we go. Now we've got boat sound today, which is unusual because every other time I've played with one in a boat, we have had no sound whatsoever. But today, we've got sound. Kind of good for the video because it does look weird when there's... Oh, and there goes the sound. So when I let go of the accelerator, the sound went. But I suppose it's better for me speaking. Just makes the video sound a little bit weird. Now, I'm going to risk it here. Normally, I would park the boat a bit further out and not risk the boat, but I have seen another one over there. So, this is the guy we need to speak to. He's in a slightly different position on a lot of the on the different sized fishing villages, but it's the dive master, and I'm going to ask him if I can go diving. Now, if you wanted to get a jackhammer and you've got the BP for the harpoon gun and the harpoons, then you can go hunting and kill 2 sharks, but we're not going to do that today. We're going to accept that shotty quest, and then we're going to go buy our scuba. That's the boat vendor, in case you need a boat, and this is the scuba guy. So, let me just make sure I've got enough room for it. Here we go, and we've brought 2, 3. There we go. I'm going to eat my food. Drop that. Just going to run and put my bag down, so we've got a respawn here. Just in case something goes wrong underwater, you never know what can happen. You don't notice a shark or something crazy happens and you end up dying and you've got to get back real quick. Come on. This is also nerve-wracking because now Oh, is that a decaying base? Looks like it. Come on. There we go. Wonder if there's any juice in that. Might check that out in a bit. So yeah, we just need to get back in our boat and off we go. I still can't get over the next gen graphics. It's just such a pleasure to play now. Especially because watching clips of old gen now, I don't know how we ever played it. Even though the gameplay's very similar, and it's, don't get me wrong, I loved old gen Rust. I've got 3k hours in it, but wow, the fact that we've got this now is just something else. So what I would normally do is hit all these barrels, because as I say, I find it very relaxing. It's just nice and easy, no stress. Usually you can see anyone coming from a mile off because you're on the ocean, nowhere for them to hide. So I would normally hit every single barrel, but as it stands, I don't have a decent melee for it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do... One second. I'm just going to do the ships initially. Ooh, we got a large over there, hopefully no shark. And then we'll get a few of the toolbox and brown box spawns from the top of the ocean as we go along. Just to speed it up a little bit. Now you can open those boxes. I'll show that again because I didn't explain it very well. And I've been struggling on New Gen to find... There's usually 3 boxes by these small ships. And for some reason, I am struggling hard to see them all. I'm usually finding 1 or 2 if I'm lucky on these small ones that are on this side. Now, if you're watching this video and you spot one that I haven't seen, please point it out to me because... Right, there's one. The other one, I'm not even going to bother looking for because it's really frustrating. So, you hold, go up a bit, hold, tap it to open and then hold and you can get that box. So, my boat's there. It's worth just swimming over to this, to be honest. So, small ships have 3 boxes, large ships have 6. So, I've got 2 already, so after this large ship, I'll only need another 2 more boxes, which means we're almost at pump shotty and we've got decent comps already. So it's one of those where if you do it this quickly, you can sort of carry on and just keep going until you're happy with the amount of scrap that you've got. So we've got our first metal tool, which means we can hit barrels quickly now as well. And also, we don't have to use stone tools for setting up a base. There we go, a metal hatchet and a metal pickaxe straight away, so that's handy. No stone tools for us. So yeah, all in all, I just can't imagine a better way of starting. I mean, there's obviously better scrap yield starts and more fun starts, more action, but for me personally, if you're looking after after a long day of work, you're just looking to relax and just get a start on a server, this is the best way, I think, to be honest. But you've got to be really careful on wipe day because there will be a lot of guys doing this, so you can end up getting sworded in the back as you're opening a box. But there we go, so we're 2 crates away from completing the shotty quest now. And another bonus is, on wipe day, when you got the pump shotty, if you pair that with a crossbow, or a bow, to give yourself a bit of range, it really does give you an advantage. Because it's not often you run into guys with guns after 45 minutes. As it stands, we've been going for 22 or 20 minutes, and we could pretty much almost be leaving the ocean any minute now, so we would be way ahead of the curve. There we go, and we've now got a bit of armour for ourselves. I know we've already got the Hazy, but you don't always get that straight away. I'm going to have to drop a few things here just to Just to make a bit of room. There we go. I need to be bandaging as well, don't I? Oh, might as well hit this too. Oh, because there's no engine sound, I keep going to turn it back on, but I don't need to. So we just need to find one more boat now, and we're laughing. Got the stop in there. Oh, there's a bottle. So we should, hopefully it's not one on its side and I can only find one, but... Oh, of course. Oh, there's two. Is there a shark? I can't see a shark. So we need to get 2 boxes before it gets dark, and we're done, basically. I still don't know what the best way to look around these ones is. Is that one there? It is. Right, so we've got one more to get. Oh, and there's the goggles. Spare goggles for us. Not that we need them. Oh, and there we go. So that is how to do the pump shotty quest. There we go. So let's have a look. So we've got a decent start here. We've got a few comps. We've got enough stuff to recycle the cloth. We're going to have a K cloth there pretty much. We've got 162 scrap as it stands, with a little bit more from the comps that we got. And yeah, I think that's pretty much a perfect pump shotty run. So I'll go back to the fishing village now and collect it. Now obviously it's getting dark. We could carry on if we wanted to, as long as we wanted, pretty much. Start the engine. It's so bizarre with no sound. Are we going the right way here? Yeah, I think we are. There we go. It should render in a sec. Come on, fishing village. There we go. Now look at the beautiful night sky. So yeah, like I say, you could carry on doing this for another 20 minutes if you wanted. It's not like we've used up our tank or anything. We've still got, how long? 5 minutes on the tank. And what do we want to drop? We'll drop that. Just be careful because your scuba tank can pop out if you put your hazy on, and that if it's on the floor, someone can pick it up. So yeah, that's a decent haul for, we're talking 23 minutes or something like that, and that's pretty much as fast as you're going to get as much loot as that. So we need, let me those, and drop that, and then collect our pump. Thank you very much, sir. And that's that. We have a gun, a decent amount of loot, scrap, and everything you need for a start, really. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, give me a like, maybe a subscribe if you're feeling fancy, and yeah, I'm going to try and make a few more of these tutorial runs, maybe on a few of the monuments and a few of the other things like horse fertilizer and, you know, stuff, the basic stuff to help you get started, that's stress-free, relaxed, and yeah, so I'll leave you with a beautiful view of Rust Console Fishing Village at night. Thank you very much for watching.